Um, Hello, I'm Jay. I'm here with my awesome, very cool person. I don't know what to call you, a graphic designer, multi-instrumentalist, Callum Rooney, in a band called Ounce, which we're going to talk about that. It's really cool. And I just want to talk. So what happened was I was at this show. I was at Queens of the Stone Age, which has been my favorite show I've been to so far. It was sold out, and my dad was picking me up from school, and he was on his phone, and we were looking through Instagram to find the poster, and this monstrosity popped up, and the first thing I said is I love it, and I've been obsessed ever since. Mr. Rooney's art is it's weird, it's organic, it's flowy, it's weirdly analog, like you can see dots in it, and it's every point of view you look at it, you see something different. Not many artists have that, you know. So welcome, man.
Oh, thanks for having me, dude.
Awesome. Okay. So I'm just gonna start off. You've been doing graphic design for what seems like a while now, but how did you get introduced to it?
I guess with like a lot of people, I don't know, I've always been into music and stuff when I was probably about your age in like high school and stuff. Like, I don't know, I just started getting into records and um before that I was in like I was into skateboarding and stuff, and skateboarding's got like the big graphic kind of presence.
Yeah,
So like yeah, skateboarding and um record art and then poster art as well. That just really grabbed me. And yeah, I did like art and design through high school. And then when I was in my early 20s, I just got into bands really, and then it was cheaper to just do it yourself and just doing gig flyers and then t-shirts and record sleeves and
that's awesome.
um, yeah, and just kind of grew like that.
That's how I have a record right here, actually. I don't even know why I have this here, but I do. This is a double Genesis LP for a couple of the early records. I don't know. This is like this is almost like you can kind of tell it's kind of like your art almost. I just have this here. I don't know where this
That,
popped up from, but
I've never seen that art. That's pretty cool.
yeah, I
It's a
found this
bit.
at a record. It's actually signed by Steve Hackett.
Wow.
This is how I got into King Gizzard and Pigs and all this awesome art is because my biology teacher, which I talked about in some other video, he loves Genesis. He loves weird jazz, and he he got me into this. And the whole summer, man, I was just listening to psych and getting more and more weird music. So I love it, man.
Cool.
What influences do you have? I know in some other podcasts you talked about your art influence, but do you take band influences to your art, or is it just purely who you've seen in your environment?
Um, Yeah, I don't know. I guess I take influences from the music as well, and I suppose because the music is like, especially with like all that old like prog kind of stuff and stuff, like the music and the visuals are just so tied together.
Yeah.
Uh, so I guess yeah, you're always going to kind of take from music as well. And I when I'm usually working and stuff, I'm usually listening to music.
What do
So
you listen to?
um, well, I'd say like kind of through COVID and all that shit, like the lockdown and stuff, I kind of got very, very kind of like insular and um, I don't know, because like before that, I was just like listening to like like OCs and a lot of Sabbath and
Oh,
like real like riff driven stuff.
yeah.
But then yeah, like I don't know, kind of needed more like ambient chill shit for the time. So yeah, I don't know, like a lot of ambient stuff. A lot of like early krautrock,
Oh, yeah.
um, like Terry Riley, um, yeah, Aphex Twin. I don't know, just like all sorts, really. Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome. Yeah. Uh, I don't know. That's how I've gotten into psych rock too. I mean, ambient rock. You did what? Like an album cover for Communicant. And
Oh,
wow,
yeah,
that is a hell of an album. That is such a good album. I don't know how they have so little streams. That is such an amazing project. It's so spacey and I love the acoustics and everything. Ooh, that's awesome. I listened to that while studying for sure.
yeah. I mean that record, it kind of reminds me of a lot of like that sort of like Tame Impala sort of
Oh
thing.
yeah,
I see how
that's what
they
I was
could be.
thinking.
Yeah, like I don't know why they're not more popular.
I think I like it better than Tame Impala though, because it feels more organic and down to earth. I tried to get in contact with them, but I think they're on a break or something. But one
Oh,
day that would be a cool interview to get for sure. Um,
I could probably send his email. I don't know. I
oh,
think I still,
cool.
yeah. See what I
Yeah,
can do.
I appreciate it, man. So yeah, we talked about like psych rock and whatever, all these weird things. What do you think the appeal is? Because I like I don't know what for me, I just found it, and probably through Queens, it just gets where it gets crazier and worse and more. Like my mom hates my music I listen to now, but like, what do you think's the appeal for I guess us weirdos?
I don't know. I guess it's like it's kind of it's kind of like a reaction to like I don't know, like pop music now, I suppose. And I mean, I suppose that's always been the thing with going back to like 60s, 70s. Um, all that prog rock and psych rock was just trying to do something outside of the um, you know, the norm.
Yeah,
Uh, and for me, it's because like I don't know, psych rock's always like trying to like pull from other parts of the world, like like world music and like jazz and bits of classical or like avant-garde. And it's yeah, it's just something that you won't really be challenged with like top 40 music or whatever. And I don't know, yeah, it's
yeah.
just
I think I've got to agree with you, but I've been listening to more what's it world music like Goat. Have you heard of Goat?
hmm.
Talked about that last interview too. They are wow, they are really interesting.
Yeah, they're on the same label as the Pigs.
Oh,
Uh,
actually?
yeah, man, it's a great label, Rocket Recordings.
Oh, dude, yeah,
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I was Levitation. I was listening to Levitation. That's how I get into this. Levitation and KEXP. How did your like ties with Levitation like start? Because you did well, you did the OCs for their Levitation sessions, and then uh you've done pig. Yeah, you did pigs too. Yeah, you did pigs. So how did that happen? I mean,
Well, so that I think that was that last year or the year before the OC's one. But yeah, I did some poster art for the year before that as well, and those guys just hit me up through I don't know, I think through Instagram saying it seems to be that's the way most independent artists will find gigs these days is just producing stuff, putting it online, and one thing leads to another, and then you just get an email, really, yeah. Um, because yeah, I mean, I'm in New Zealand, they're in Texas. It's just the power of the internet.
yeah, they're awesome. I'm actually gonna send this interview to their agent. If you're seeing this, I don't remember your name, Mr. Pigs guy, but I am trying to interview them. They're coming to Atlanta for a festival. Now you see, I want to interview them. They're awesome. I mean, let's talk about them, all right? They're Ultimate Hammer, man. That's my favorite song. That it just it I don't know, I want to smash something. It's like it's my break stuff by Limp Bizkit. And it's driving and it's got, I mean, you hear the Black Sabbath, but you hear the I don't know, it's like Idols, but more for me. And speaking of Idols, I'm shaming them because you guys were talking to me and you randomly stopped talking to me. So please, I want to interview you guys too because they're also coming to Atlanta. So yeah, but so Pigs, do you listen to them or like your artists? Do you listen to your artists or how does that work?
Um, I think I had heard of them prior, and then they emailed me and stuff, and they said they were keen to work with me and stuff, and the label sent me the record, and
Yes,
yeah, I don't listen to a lot of stoner rock anymore, actually. But that record, yeah, it's quite refreshing. It's kind of got a lot of that like sort of like post rock and
yeah.
psychedelic, and it's kind of quite punk as well. Um, which I really appreciate. I really like the fusion of like punk and stoner, because yeah, I mean I love like Black Sabbath, like you know I probably wouldn't have ever really gone to playing bass properly and like music and stuff if it wasn't Sabbath. Um, but yeah, I don't know. In some ways, I feel like the genre has kind of stagnated a bit. Like
I hate to like hear that because I'm always like giving people new bands and stuff. But I feel like stoner rock has slowed down and sort of like Tim Impala, that sort of genre, this whatever you want to call it, ambient rock, psych rock, noise rock. I feel like that's been getting more like the OCs have been getting way more popular, which I like that because they're awesome. You know,
Yeah.
there's so many weird things, and let's talk about the OCs then, huh? I mean, this is just a conversation. So OCs John Dwyer, what they're so weird, right? Like, what's your favorite albums from them, huh?
Ooh, probably Floating Coffin, or I saw them. They came to New Zealand in I think it was around 2012, and I think that was the Carrion Crawler EP they were touring on. So I really dig that. Yeah, Floating Coffin. I like their earlier stuff as well, but I kind of like how they've kind of gone a bit more proggy as well. That a Weird Exits. Really
Mhm.
like that record. Yeah, I really like their live albums as well because they I don't know, they do the live thing really well.
Yeah, they do. So you've seen the OCs, right?
Yeah, yeah.
How is that? Because I'm debating it right now if it's worth going to see him on a Tuesday night.
Oh, dude, like you got to see, like, yeah, they've come to New Zealand, I think twice. I didn't see them the first time. I saw them the second time, and they played in this small bar that's like got maybe 250 people capacity.
Heck yeah.
It's just like they're just like just like one song after the other. It looks like the drummers are just gonna fucking pass out.
Yeah,
It's just
like
like
machine guns.
yeah. Actually, I can't remember if that was the two drummer, but because
I
yeah,
really
they
like
had
the two drummers. I think that's
one drummer and then two drummer and then one. I can't remember. I can't remember how many drummers they had at the time. But yeah, no, it was fucking sick.
yeah,
Really
it's
cool.
I like the speaking of the two drummers, I think that's like really smart. Like I don't King Giz got rid of their two drummers, which that kind of disappointed me. But I like how, you have one dude who's really pushing it, and then one guy's just doing licks on top of it, like
Yeah,
to make it even more spacey and crazy. Are there
yeah,
moshes at like OC's concerts or
yeah. I think it got pretty hectic. But yeah, I can't really remember it that well, which means it must have been a pretty good night.
yeah. That's what I've been trying to get into a real mosh because my like journey has been through Elton John and Billy Joel. Like those are my concerts, and it went into more crazy like Queens were my first real like stoner rock, weird rock, and they sold out the Fox Theater, and that was just like I felt like I was high the whole time, and I may have been a little because everyone is smoking weed. That was like so funny. Like as soon as you start, you just get that crazy smell. But
Yeah,
the best concerts you can't remember them, huh? I can
yeah,
barely remember, barely. I just remember the lights. I remember being really sweaty.
yeah. It's kind of like you remember more the
Oh, what do you say?
and stuff like that. It's just
Wait, can
like
you repeat that? I think, yeah, you went like off for a second.
oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I was just gonna say it's more like a vibe that you remember, like a I don't know, an overarching kind of feeling of the night.
Yeah, man. Okay, so let's talk about Ounce then, huh? So I've got to say, for anyone who hasn't listened to Ounce, this guy's band, it's awesome. I that's like it's funny because you say you haven't listened to much stoner rock, and that that is like dry. It's like basically like pigs. It's just crazy. It's pumping, but you talked about you going more into the communicant world. Will your
Mm.
next project be more like a Tame Impala record or like a King Giz record, or will it be still?
Um, well, the so yeah, Ounce was started in I think that was like 2017 or 2018, and yeah, I was still listening to a lot of like um yeah, the more like punky kind of OC stuff and Black Sabbath and kind of stone rock shit. But yeah, and we do have another album's worth of stuff to do, but it's just been COVID and babies and
Oh,
leg
sweet,
injury.
baby.
Yeah, we got the two drummers, and one of the drummers really fucked his leg up because he does jujitsu and stuff like that, and he's
Oh,
just hoping to do
Like
that.
Maynard James Keenan,
What's that?
like MJK from Tool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he also does jujitsu and stuff. Weird, huh? I guess musicians musicians and jujitsu.
Yeah, totally. Um, yeah, and then the other drummer had a baby. I've got an 8-year-old now as well. So
Oh,
it's just
congrats,
kids.
man.
There's kids in the mix, and I don't know. Everyone's got jobs and stuff, so it's hard getting everyone together at the moment. And we wrote a lot of the stuff before COVID, and it's kind of changed a bit.
Yeah.
So we just need to get everyone in the same room, do the recording. But this stuff's a lot more nuanced than the last amount of stuff.
I love
Um,
that will be I really like it when it's more almost like psychedelic porn crumpets where they have those like crazy everything's like an overload.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I love that so much. I'm really excited for the Ounce record. I thought you guys I was like had a feeling that you guys were gonna tour with Pigs on their tour because that would be like the best combination. You guys open it like perfect opener. But
Yeah.
someday
Yeah, who knows, man.
I would go to that show for sure, man.
Yeah, but other than that, me and Tony, one of the drummers in the band, he was uh before Ounce, we were in another band, and he's actually a guitar player as well. So, but yeah, we've just been doing this uh sort of like side project thing called Earth, spelled IRTH, and that's kind of
Oh,
more ambient sort of krautrock sort of inspired. Like we're just using like drum machines and a lot of
oh, that's
synths and
gonna
stuff
be
like that.
awesome.
So yeah, we just get together and just jam in my garage pretty much. So it's less reliant on a lot of people having to be in the same room at the same time, and we're just it's just like overdubbing and just playing with tape machines and shit.
That's
So we
amazing.
might be doing a record worth of stuff. Like we've already done a couple of EPs.
Mhm.
But yeah, we might try and compile the best bits and put out a record. But
Yeah, I
so
would definitely listen to that, man. That's a real big that's a big departure from your stoner rock era. But I mean,
yeah.
I think it's gonna be hell of a record if you guys do. I mean, please do it because all of us here, the three psych people that listen to psych in Georgia, will listen to it. I promise you. There's few of us, but
Yeah, it's very different. It's more it's like it's all instrumental and it's kind of more it's kind of I guess it's kind of what I've been in the headspace of where I've been like I listen to a lot of instrumental music and like ambient shit. So like
yeah,
it's kind of like you can choose to listen to it or you can kind of choose to kind of zone it out, It's just kind of background music in a way. It's yeah, it's a lot less demanding than um, like fuzz guitar. So
yeah, that's what. Like I was listening well during what's it my classes. Sometimes our teachers let us pull out our phones and listen to music, and I only have one playlist full of just random songs. Like yeah, what's it? It's Pigs right next to Floyd, right next to Genesis, right next to Ounce. And sometimes you're doing work and you hear like really, yeah, really ambient, like Let It Happen, really nice song. And then it just goes straight into Black Sabbath, like Bloody Sabbath, something, I don't know, it's something beautiful about it though. The driving, the anger, like I don't know. I think that there's a really big pull to it. That's why I like idols because it may be kind of simple, but there's like a simplicity to it. Just the
yeah.
same with the psych music. There's something different that pop doesn't touch for me. But
Mm,
that could also be the less commercial, like Ounce isn't focused on being the top 100 charts,
yeah.
Billboard or whatever. I think
Yeah.
I like that better though. Me and my friends were getting in an argument about like Taylor Swift and stuff. And Taylor Swift's cool and all, and I like one of her records specifically, the one with the trees. I forget the name, but just because it is so indie focused and
Mm,
so organic, and it feels so relatable. All the other all the other albums, I don't know. If for me, it's like if you can hear the silence in a song, and you hear how like commercial it is, I'm not sure I like it. Not to say that I don't like silences in songs, but like I like that I, I like the organic, like it feels like you've
mm.
just done it outside or in your garage. I,
Yeah, yeah, it's like the ambient vibe, right? It's kind of like yeah, field recordings, kind of just putting in the outside sounds that kind of weave into the music that you can't control.
exactly. And that's like being transcended into another dimension, That's what I like.
Yeah,
High Visceral Part One. That's this psychedelic porn crumpets album. Dude,
Mm.
that is such a trip. That that is like the clean guitars, like the driving clean guitars I've gotten into more and more. And you probably have too, knowing, you're talking about the new stuff, but the driving clean guitars, something about it, right? I don't
Yeah.
know. It's you can see that in your art too. But look, let's get back to the art. You've like gone from, if you look at your Instagram, you've gone from this more almost 2D feeling art, right, with your original art and your original posters and stuff and gig flyers to now, I mean, whatever the hell that is, more 3D and more 4D and out of brains and out of mind. Do you think is that basically just because you've gone from stoner to psych, or is that because of your baby, or is it a combination of everything, or did you do it on purpose?
I don't know. I don't know if I could say any pin it to any sort of particular thing.
Mhm.
Uh, I don't know. I just kind of just do what comes to mind. I mean, like I guess with like that Queens of the Stone Age one, it's just I guess recently I've been more into just doing like organic,
Yeah.
abstract stuff, just playing with just form itself more than subject. Um, yeah, I don't know. It really just depends on the commission, the work that I'm doing. If there's a brief, or like people are like, hey, I want you to do this, and this, like referencing previous work of mine, or just just any other artwork.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I kind of just do what just vibes at the time, and
Yeah,
yeah,
it's awesome.
pretty.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about old music, new music, pop. I want to talk about the old to new. Do you prefer like old, you're talking about the spacious music. So do you prefer like Eno and what's space music, old space what's it the band that went with Queen's crap. The one of Queen's openers for their LA um what's it, spiritualized. So do you like
Ah,
that sort of old type of spacey, or do you prefer the new wave sort of like Spring, which isn't really spacey, but their music's more indie spacey? Do you like the old stuff like Genesis, the old spacey, or the new?
definitely the old spacey. Like I'm kind of perpetually stuck in the early '70s, probably. Like, yeah, I love Eno. I love like early Eno records,
Oh yeah.
and the stuff he did with Robert Fripp from King
Oh
Crimson,
yeah, yeah, Crimson.
and even yeah, him as a producer and his ambient work, um, and the stuff he did. Have you heard Cluster?
Yeah. Wait, is the crap? I have an album on my Spotify downloaded from Eno and Cluster. Or
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know what the name is, but it's in German and it's so good.
yeah. No, they're great, man. And yeah, because Cluster, I don't know, it's a little bit more like sort of like industrial, sort of abstract music, but Eno kind of brings them sort of like a more melodic
Yeah.
buzz. I don't know. Yeah, and yeah, just yeah. I think yeah, '70s music kind of really nailed the that sort of space rock psychedelic thing. So yeah, all the krautrock like Can, like
I
I
love
I,
Can.
I adore Can. It's like Tiger Margo is probably my favorite record because I mean you got like that whole first record which is like it's like a lot of funk and
Yeah.
I don't know avant-garde shit, and then like the second record is just like totally weird drum
That's what
machine.
I enjoy. It's like sometimes I can't even understand the lyrics. Sometimes it's everything's
Yeah,
overpowered. Can't even
I
hear
don't
it.
think yeah, I
Perfect.
don't think like saying lyrics half the time. He's just like
Yeah.
using his voice like a keyboard or something. It's just an extra layer. And it's not
Yeah.
really about like the lyrics like a pop song. Like kind of
Yeah.
going back to the whole pop thing. It's just esoteric and um. But yeah, no, it just jams so hard. And then yeah, stuff like Hawkwind as well. Like they're like the ultimate space rock band. Um, they've been a big influence on me over the years. Like especially the art as well with like kind of going back to that whole thing like art art and music not being like being totally fused like the graphic designer Barney Bubbles that did like the first 5 or 6 Hawkwind record covers and then he designed like all their like speaker cabinets and like
It's awesome.
the stage layout and all
Yeah.
like the tour pamphlets and posters. It was just it just creates like an immersive world where you
Yeah.
when you just got one dude doing like consistently doing like the whole visual side of a band. Um, Before that, I don't think I'd ever seen that, so that had like a real big influence on me.
Hell yeah. Without, do you guys prefer like speaking of the stage, do you like just normal lights and almost like a dad rock sort of sort of thing where it's just the light shining on you and you chill? Or do you I really prefer the King Gizzard where it's on you, on the performers, and they're just doing
Oh, like
weird.
projected?
Yeah, I love that. That's
No,
so
no. Yeah, I think that's something that's really actually lacking in Auckland. Like no one does like light shows, and it's something I've thought about doing as well. But logistically, it's a bit of a pain in the ass.
yeah.
Uh, Auckland hasn't got like I don't know. It's like the venues aren't that big and stuff, and they're quite like hole in the wall.
Yeah.
So it would in some cases it would be pretty hard to do a light show. But yeah, I love that shit. Like it reminds me of the old like Pink Floyd.
Yeah,
Like
that was like so scary. Matt, like if you're on a mushroom trip and you just see the Pink Floyd stuff, I would like freak out. Same with Tool, man. Like if you're just all of a sudden there, I
yeah,
would be questioning a lot of stuff. Like
yeah,
that's what I really enjoy. That's what pulled me to go to their concert was because I still think the Queens have had the best stage layout I've ever seen with their weird like triangle stage setup because I was in the back of the theater and I still got lights on me. And for Song of the Dead, Song for the Deaf, right? Or Song for the Dead. That's their finale. And you're doing
yeah.
it, and I have video of it. My dad got video, and it's so bright that like you can't even see anything. It's just big white everywhere. And like I don't know, there's something so primal. It's so
Feel like dying or something.
I know it's like my eyes. I still close your eyes, you can still see a faint bright light everywhere just because of how weird it was. That's why for the same festival that Pigs are playing, the second day of the festival, Queens of the Stone Age are playing again, and I bought a ticket because I can't afford a full festival, but I can afford one day to see an hour set's fine with me. And
Yeah.
I don't know, there's a pull to a band. That's why like Can, I would pay so much goddamn money to see Can again. Not again,
Oh,
like ever.
yeah.
Like if something happened, I would for sure see that.
Yeah, if I
Um,
could get that time machine and go to like 1971 or 72 to see Can. God damn.
I
Same with
know.
Black Sabbath. Like seeing Black Sabbath in like 1971. I think that's like yeah.
I don't know how that could even coexist. Like you have the Sabbath and you have Genesis, you have Floyd, you have Can, you have all this weird bands and weird artists, and they're all doing so much. They're all progressing so fast. You don't see that
Exactly.
anymore, man. Like,
Exactly. And that's why I think like that time was the best time for that shit because those bands didn't really, like we have those bands now as a reference to do what
yeah,
we do, but they were just pulling that shit out of their asses. Like, they're the generation that came after the Second World War,
yeah,
and um, yeah, like you say, yeah, it just progressed so fast, and it's just like the ideas are so like out there, and like the technology they were using at the time was pretty primitive.
yeah.
Uh,
I think I like
and
that better
maybe
though.
maybe that's why it's so good. It's just like
Yeah,
they just figured out how to um, just do it.
that's why I'm getting excited about the Earth project you talked about because tape recorders and I mean tape loopers and echoes and all the freaking primal stuff. There's
Yeah,
it's way better in my opinion, and I love clean production, but Can's production is just too good. Like the way
yeah,
it's almost bad production. I think
yeah.
that's
Well, they
better.
did those. They did those first records on like 2-track recorders. It's
Yeah,
like it's insane. Like how I don't know how you do that. That's why they're like some of my favorite records from like a production side because you're just like, how do you do that?
yeah.
You're listening to that in that capacity. Yeah.
So let's just talk about food then. Okay, so I'm already getting hungry. I had spaghetti. Yeah, so it's like 10, what's 10:31 where you are? What have you had for breakfast?
Uh, I always start with a couple of coffees. Um, what have I had? I think I just had a piece of fruit toast this morning. I, d-
Uh,
I usually don't eat a lot until yeah. I don't know. I usually have like an early lunch.
yeah.
Um, yeah. It just depends really.
Are you a tea guy or a coffee guy?
Definitely coffee in the morning,
Hmm.
and then probably tea tea in the afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've definitely got,
yeah.
got more into herbal teas recently.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was
Yeah.
about to talk about that. I keep getting these videos of like Chinese herbal teas, and dude, I love sweet tea, but I went to the store and they had like a can of tea, and I got it, and it's ooh, I love it because again, it's like it's organic, it's earthy, you can taste the shit in it. You can taste it's not too good, it's not too clean, it's perfect.
Yeah, and it's not like hyper. Yeah, it's not like flavored and
Yeah.
sugary shit. Like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
And I love the flavored and the sugary stuff. Like whenever I'm doing
Oh,
violin, I'll only
yeah,
drink sugary tea, but there's a time and place, you know?
totally. Yeah.
Oh, so we've done food, we've done everything. I play violin and I just did my all-state audition for like the orchestra, which is like the top state orchestra. I made it in 2 years in a row. For your next project, Earth, and let's say Ounce comes back together, since you guys are doing a spacey sort of thing, are we gonna see some orchestra, some Radiohead shit with the dissonance and the triads? Like, fingers crossed, I would love that. I'd bring it to another level.
I mean, I would love to have like a violin player or something. Like we always talk about like, violin or like a sax player or something. But
Oh
like
yeah, like Squid, like a sax player would go awesome. Like
yeah,
the
man.
Viagra
And
Boys too.
yeah, and like the Stooges and but then like jazz, like I love a lot of jazz music like Pharoah Sanders and Joe McPhee and
Oh yeah.
um yeah, all that kind of spiritual jazz stuff. But yeah, no, like so that first record was like, I'm playing pretty much just guitar,
Mhm.
but we've got a lot more like synths and stuff now. I've definitely got into synths a lot.
I love
So
singing.
yeah, just like organs and keyboards and stuff. And
Oh
like
yeah.
I do have like one of those Mellotron pedals.
Oh yeah,
Which
like the Beatles.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I
Robert
guess
Beatles.
that's like as close as it would get to like any sort of orchestration. Um,
I mean, man,
but yeah,
I'd gladly record some violin for you, man. But
yeah,
it's nice to see the orchestra. Like that's what Radiohead did a song called Spectre, which you should check out for James Bond. But it
uh,
got pushed out for Sam Smith, you know Sam Smith, like the pop star. And dude, that song is a goddamn masterpiece. Like it's weird and it's like lagging almost, which that's
yeah,
what the stoner rock and the pigs I like because it's lagging. But then it catches up and you get like pushed back to reality. And it's I don't know, you gotta listen. I can't even describe it. For viewers too, if y'all are watching, that song Spectre, it's off their like unreleased tapes record. You can find it on Spotify. It's so good. It's too good, I'd say.
I'll check it out. I really like what they do for films and stuff. Like individually, like the
Mm,
scores they've done for films. I've never really been the biggest Radiohead listener or like
mm.
fan or anything, but
What do you say? You're off
yeah,
the microphone again.
sorry.
Oh yeah, there you're back.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I don't know. Yeah. You should. Do you know like? We listen to a lot of like Zappa as well, and
Oh, I
like
love,
early.
dude, hell yeah. I love
Uh,
Zappa and Alan Holdsworth. That's why I like Ween. Because Ween announced the tour. Atlanta's the first day. I immediately bought tickets. Because they're as close as a modern day Zappa as you can get. They got like stupid lyrics. They have the comedy in it, you know? But then you listen to the songs and it's like, damn, this is deep. This is too
yeah.
deep.
Yeah, and the instrumentation's wild.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
yeah, I'm really into like the early Zappa, like
Mhm.
Hot Rats and
Oh yeah.
Chunga's Revenge and all that shit. And like the violin player, man, he's mental. He's
I
crazy.
know.
And have you heard Mahavishnu Orchestra?
No. Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, with John McLaughlin and stuff.
Yeah.
his violin player is crazy as well. So yeah, that jazz fusion
Violin.
violin playing, that's cool, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That's that I lost my passion for violin, and then I got into rock, and you hear these innovators doing the weirdest stuff with violin, and it got my passion back into it. And now whenever I'm free, I just like to jam, and I can do songs on it and whatever. But that's what like orchestration, because my last guest was Mark Wood, who's like an orchestra dude. And I think that pushing orchestra into the modern world and leaving the old dudes behind, like it's still important to train classically, but it's like guitar, right? Like we're not going to get anywhere if we don't do weird shit. You play baritone guitar, you play bass, you do synths. You're not going to get anywhere if you play what like just the same Beatles songs over and over again. It's great for
Yeah,
practice. It's great to get it down, but to progress and to get into the to open your third eye, you
yeah,
have to I don't know, I think you have to go through your trip, figure it out, go through some shitty times and figure it out, honestly.
yeah. No, definitely. Like you say, guitar. It'd be boring as hell if everyone was just trying to be Eric Clapton because
Oh
that
yeah.
shit has been it was done 50 years ago. We
Yeah.
gotta and it's cool like that you're doing something that's not a guitar because I mean
And I
everyone
love
can always
guitar,
find
man.
guitar players. I mean it looks like you play guitar,
Yeah,
but
I play
like
guitar a lot, but
yeah,
and
but
you.
like violin, it's niche, you know.
Yeah, no, I love violin. Okay, so we have 1 minute and 30 seconds left because I can't afford pro Zoom. So one more question and then we gotta head out, okay?
Yep.
I love your shirts. You did merch for communicant, and I think I'm gonna buy one. But are we gonna get any like long sleeve? Like I want to buy shirts from you, man. If you make like a long sleeve shirt with like your logo on it with like the sun that's dripping down, dude, I would buy
Yeah.
that instantly. Like it
Oh
Pigs
yeah.
merch too. Their shirts are so good because of you. You got to make some, please, please.
Yeah, I will do some shirts. I have a screen print set up in my garage. Um, so yeah, that's one of the other things that's kind of informed my art as well. It's just like, is it screen printable? Just like with that poster, it's
Yeah, I love it.
um,
Okay. So I want to talk to you more, bro, but we have less than 30 seconds. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for taking this opportunity. I really appreciate it because I'm pretty new to the game, and I appreciate you stepping out and doing this with me.
awesome.
It was awesome, man. Like you're such an interesting dude. I hope more people look at the stuff you do, the bands you work with. Bands, I'm sending this to all the agents I'm talking to. Primus, Ween, Psychedelic Porn Crumpets, Pigs. Please let me interview your people. OCs, I'm talking to the OCs, their agent. Please let me interview you guys. I love your stuff. You love their stuff?
I love this stuff.
I love exactly. Please.